Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we return to talking about lockdowns currently going on here in the United States of America. Particularly Los Angeles and California have been really strictly locked down for a while now. And more specifically, we're talking about Los Angeles today because they just recently announced that they're extending their lockdowns through the rest of the summer, 3 more months, all the way up until August for now. That's a pretty serious blow and a pretty bold statement coming from the officials out there, and perhaps it is necessary, but a lot of people are coming against it. It sounds very draconian, very authoritarian, and it just seems like there's no end in sight. I would be seeming very desperate, very upset if I was still in California. God bless those people trying to survive out there. I hope they're doing well, but certainly there is things to be scared about. We know that this virus is still out there, but perhaps the lockdowns have been going on for too long. I think a lot of people are ready to reopen, ready to kind of take some chances. Keep yourself clean, keep yourself safe, wear your mask and use your stuff. But at the same time, geez, 3 more months of lockdowns, I could see why people are getting upset. It seems like there's no end in sight, and I'd be worried too. And we're going to get more into this story today, talking about the details, going over an article, and all kinds of cool stuff. But first, let's quickly take a moment to check out our loyal sponsors at healthwithnobs.com. Collagen really is the closest thing we have to a real fountain of youth, and BioTrust currently has the best collagen on the market. They're offering 50% off right now while supplies last. Looks great, and you can mix it into all kinds of cool drinks like your coffee, a milkshake, some food, some soup. There's really a lot of different ways to eat it, so it makes it a lot of fun. With all that said, I think you guys understand the benefits of collagen and why it's important to check out healthwithnobs.com today. Make sure you check it out, and thanks for your time. Now, let's get back to the show. Great, now that that's out of the way, let's get to the rest of today's story. Here's an article from people.com called Los Angeles Stay-at-Home Order Will Go Until August With All Certainty, Officials Say. I do think recovery will be months long based on the tools that we have at hand today, Los Angeles County Public Health Director Barbara Ferrier said on Tuesday. So this is the big announcement, a pretty big extension right there, and it's kind of demoralizing when you think about it too. These people have been locked down for 2 months already. Lots of people haven't been able to work, haven't been able to provide, haven't been able to eat properly, get exercise, all kinds of things like that. So to say it's going to be 3 more months right on here is kind of upsetting. It's kind of harsh. They could have done it month by month, maybe said it was 2, but no, 3 all the way through August. I guess they want people to be prepared, be stocked up on food and stuff, but how are they even going to shop? How are they even going to go out? What stores are open? I know some restaurants are opening, and this isn't a totally 100% lockdown thing. It's just part of the quarantine. And also, I think it's part of the political process. This is what the Democrats in the liberal state voted for. They voted for Democrat politicians who have been running them into the ground for years. But despite that, they still vote them in. They still have a Democratic governor, a Democratic mayor of Los Angeles. All the politicians there are almost all Democrats. So this is kind of them getting what they asked for. They voted for this, and we all know Democrats are big on lockdowns right now for a couple of reasons. The first reason is they love the power. They're getting new powers, new authority, new control over the people, so they don't want to let that go. Democrats are very power hungry. That's why they lean onto the far left side of socialism, communism, controlling, working towards a dictatorship like what's happened in South America, some Far East communist countries too. So they're very power hungry. They don't want to let that go. So that's why they'll do things like extend the lockdown, even though it seems like the trend might be going downward. We might not need to lock down that long, but they're going to try to withhold that power. And in addition, the next step is, and this is a very important thing for this year, the second reason Democrats want to keep things locked down is they want to stop Trump from winning re-election. The election's coming in November, not too far from now, about 6 months, and the Democrats' plan is to lock down as much and as long as they can, at least through the election. That way they could take our economy down. They get people in a bad place, upset. They want everyone to be negative and anti-Trump. They're going to try to blame this on him. So that political factor is playing a big role, especially in California, where, again, they elected these Democrats. We can let them do what they want. We're not saying, tell them what to do. This is what they asked for. I'm sure they're not very happy. A lot of people probably aren't happy about these lockdowns, but this is what they voted in. This is what they continue to vote for, and we could just kind of laugh at them from afar. Let's read on into this article then. It says, stay-at-home orders will likely remain in place for Los Angeles County residents for the most of the summer. On Tuesday, the county's public health director, Barbara Ferrier, warned during a Board of Supervisors meeting that a dramatic change to the virus and tools that we have at hand to actually fight it is necessary before lockdown rules can be relaxed, saying the order will, with all certainty, be extended for the next 3 months, ABC News 7 Los Angeles reported. I do think recovery will be months long based on the tools that we have at hand today, Ferrer said. Ferrer comments came as Los Angeles County continues to see a spike in related cases and deaths. According to New York Times database, Tuesday saw another 566 infections and 39 deaths. As of Wednesday morning, a total of 33,000 cases and 1,600 deaths have been recorded, making Los Angeles County California's epicenter. Governor Gavin Newsom has allowed individual counties to approve reopening plans for residents. Los Angeles County officials had previously set May 15th as the deadline for its Safer at Home order, the region's reopening based on a 5-point prerequisite plan that factors in benchmarks including the healthcare system's capacity to treat patients, the protections in place for those at risk, the ability to maintain physical distancing, and the availability to testing and contact tracing, ABC News reported. Okay, lots of new information there. First of all, we're doing a state by state here. This is just California where they're going county by county whether they need to reopen. Apparently, they're thinking Los Angeles is doing worse. That's probably to be expected. That's a very dense, very heavily populated area. Millions of people in a big county that's spread out. I mean, it's suburban. LA County is big, but there's still a lot of people there. So we can understand their worry, but at the same time, 3 more months of lockdowns is kind of daunting. It is kind of maybe seeming like overkill. Right here it says they saw 500 infections and 39 deaths on Tuesday as of Wednesday morning. They've had 1,600 deaths, which is terrible. That's a lot of people. But you also got to remember, there's like 40 million people in California, so that's kind of a small percentage. The only reason they're so high is because there's so many people there. And it's also such an international place, people coming and going. So in my opinion, I think the lockdown is still kind of going long, but I would say, there's other things they could do besides keeping everyone at home, like, for example, stopping international travel, restricting immigration, locking down other things like external factors, like things coming and going from other countries. Now, I know that could devastate some of their economy, some of their businesses, but that's more preferable than, say, taking the whole state and locking them all down in one big thing, especially Los Angeles. So I think it's very troubling. It's touchy too. I mean, there is 2 sides to this. That's why I'm kind of in the middle at some point, or I sound like I'm in the middle, but I'm definitely more leaning towards this is a long lockdown, and 3 months is going to seem like a long time, especially when you're stuck in your studio apartment in California. You got nowhere to go, nothing to do, and you can't even leave your building. A lot of those people are in crammed buildings, crammed areas where you can't even go outside your front door to get fresh air without having to possibly pass through a hallway, running into a person, touch a handle or something. I mean, it's not as easy as living in a suburban place in a house where you can walk out and have your own yard. So it's definitely a terrible situation, and I feel for a lot of those people. A lot of them my friends and former coworkers since I lived there for about 10 years. Just on Monday, the county's Department of Beaches and Harbors tweeted that beaches would be reopening on Wednesday, though with major restrictions. Beachgoers must wear face coverings unless actively swimming, for example, or in lying or sitting on the sand with canopies or coolers is not allowed. An expansion of permitted retail activities also goes into effect on Wednesday, officials said. So we're seeing some things are slowly coming back, beaches, some retail activities. The stay-at-home order isn't necessarily like a full lockdown, like, oh, the streets, everything's closed. It's just a stay-at-home unless you need to go to the store or, you have a planned event or you're going to want to go to the beach one day. There's still options, so it's not necessarily as bad as a full lockdown, but those are kind of worrisome too, especially California beaches, which I've seen have been very crowded, especially in Los Angeles area. I know we had problems with that. Florida just had some issues with reopening beaches. They tried to reopen this week, and then they got too crowded, and now they're closing them again. So you got to be careful. You got to make sure you can enforce that kind of stuff and have things ready, prepared. Restrictions are important to keep people still separated and not get this whole thing to blow this whole thing up again. Wildfire estimated August is a likely deadline. No official date has been set by county officials. We are being guided by science and data that will safely move us forward along the road to recovery in a measured way. This is another window, one that allows us to ensure that effective distancing and infection control measures are in place, she later said in a statement, the Signal reported. We're counting on the public's continued compliance with the orders to enable us to relax restrictions, and we are committed to making sure that LA County is in the best position to provide its 10 million residents with the highest level of wellness possible as we progressively get back to normal. Okay, so things I see here that are red flags are the way they say they're like backing science, like they have this scientific approach. It kind of seems like they don't to me. Like, I don't know. I think this thing is supposed to take it to some science and to some evidence. Public health director discusses extension of quarantine measures. County says order will be continuously considered. I'm not really sure what's going on here, if there's like data, but I think what I'm seeing is they try to hide behind supposed data and facts when really there's other motivations here. There's emotion, there's politics, there's power and control. There's other things going on in place, and you can't trust Democratic leaders. You can't trust any leaders in California, any politicians. They're always going to give you this kind of, oh, it's backed by science, but really it's backed by their beliefs and what they want to do at the time. The next thing I see is them progressively getting back to normal. California is, of course, a very progressive place. I don't know if they meant to say it like that, but it definitely makes you think. The Board of Supervisors also issued their own statement in response to Farrer's comments. During this time, we will still move forward with our efforts to ease restrictions aligned with appropriate public health safety protocols. They said, according to the Signal, changes to the order will be continuously considered after reviewing the data every 3 to 4 weeks during this time. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti weighed in too, telling Deadline in a statement, while the city's safer at home order will remain in place beyond May 15th, we will also continue to adjust the order gradually to safely allow more activities, more businesses to operate, and more Angelenos to get back to work. We're not moving past this. We're learning to live with it, and we will keep taking measured steps towards a new, safer reality in the days and weeks ahead. Okay. So it's definitely sounding more reasonable, but also at the same time, excessive, authoritarian, sort of over-the-top, controlling. We're seeing all these leaders kind of lockstep in line. They're trying to take California down as far as they can and to try to kind of sway the election. But the problem with that is, I mean, all of California is not going to vote for Trump anyway. I think maybe they can influence a lot of the region and a lot of the country because they're the biggest economy, one of the biggest economies in the world, let alone within our states. So they have a lot of influence, but at the same time, they're just a blue state who's going to go blue. No one's expecting any Republican electoral votes from them. So we could kind of let that slide and just kind of note this, keep an eye on things, note that other regions are having similar issues trying to reopen, but Democrats are trying to stop them. It's a big political mess, and you should think about it on both of these lenses, not just the fact that we're talking about public health. We need to consider that, and of course, human lives are the most valuable thing. We want to save as many as possible. No one is saying we should not safely open. We should be haphazard or cavalier. No, but we should also be more reasonable and open-minded and kind of, consider the fact that the lockdowns can be worse than the actual problem. That about wraps things up on today's video. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys comment your thoughts on everything below. Do you think LA is locking down for too long? Is this disheartening? Will these people be able to survive all the way through August? Comment your thoughts below, and also leave a like if you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you have a great day.